Hey guys, what is going on? So I've gotten enough requests to do progress picture comparisons that I guess I'm going to do it. I do want to warn you guys though that the amount of gains that I've seen over the past few years has been very minimal. I've been training on and off for 12 years, so it's not like I really get newbie gains. And it would have been nice to have progress pictures back when I put on most of my weight, which was probably in high school. It was definitely in high school, but you know, I do still take pictures from time to time, and they're really not all that different. It's just more so a matter of how good were you posing, or how good was the lighting, or how good was the angle. I don't really think progress pictures really do much justice one way or another, and the amount of progress that I've made is honestly very minimal, so I don't really think there's much of a comparison, but I'm still going to do it anyway. But that's why I've been hesitant to do it, just because I don't think it really is valuable, and that's why I got the naked body scanner in the first place. That's why I think those 3D models and kind of showing your measurements and all that is much more effective in showing, hey, I gained 1 pound of muscle, which you would never be able to visually tell with any accuracy. You might just feel like you got bigger, whatever else. So that's why I do the body scans. That's why I'm doing it that way. And I think strength numbers can also be a form of progress, but progress pictures not really my thing. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and show you some pictures. So this first one here, this was me in mid-October, so I ordered Turkesterone in mid-November. So this is the last picture that I have of me in the gym from that time period. Now the lighting here is pretty good. I would say this is my old gym, and I can't go there anymore, at least not during any reasonable time. So the lighting here I think is the best, and I think when you compare this lighting to other ones, it maybe makes me look a little bit better than I was. But I was about 220 pounds here. So that was I was pretty much stuck at 220 for months prior to doing Turkesterone. So I was kind of hovering in that range, pretty lean, but I wasn't as lean as, I wanted to be, but I couldn't really get any leaner because I messed up my metabolism. So this is a picture that I took today. And if you compare these two pictures, put them side by side, other than the lighting, one makes me look pale and it gives me more contrast, and the other one makes me look more tan but gives me less contrast. But if you look at everything, it looks pretty similar. The only differences I would say here are the first picture, when I'm lighter, you can see kind of around my oblique area I tend to store body fat in my low back, so it kind of bleeds over there and it makes my waist look a little bit bigger, and I think that's why my waist measurement is bigger. So you see that. And then the other thing I think that pops out is the trap difference. And I want you to, I'm going to show some other pictures to show why this is just a visual thing. But when I, pose for my pictures, when I take the picture, I try and make sure that the lighting can show definition. So I have to hold my phone in a certain way where it doesn't cover up my abs. And I want to get that V-taper look. And so I flex my lats. Now this picture from today, I did shoulders, so I wanted to show kind of my shoulder pump. So I was not, because when I flex my lats, it basically makes my trap non-existent. So if you look at the comparison between these two, it looks like I put on a bunch of muscle in my traps, but it's literally one, I'm flexing my lats to a maximum degree, and the other one, I'm trying to flex my shoulders a little bit more, and that's why there's a difference there. So it looks pretty similar. I would say if I were to flex my lats a little bit more in this picture that I took today, I would have a little bit more of the V-taper look. And especially if I got rid of a little bit of that fat, it would give the illusion that my waist is a little bit smaller. So that's the difference there. I would say pretty much minimal. Maybe my shoulders are a bit bigger. My traps are probably a little bigger, but honestly in this picture, it makes it look a lot different. And then my waist is definitely bigger, but I am 10 pounds heavier. So this is a picture that I took on December 19th. So this was, a couple weeks ago. And the differences between the one today and the one from December 19th is basically, it looks like I put on a little bit of weight, which I did in my midsection. So I have more of that V-taper. And like I said, now you can see that the traps from literally 2 weeks ago are smaller than they are in the picture today because I'm flexing my lats a little bit more. So I could probably take a picture of me doing the V-taper thing, but it's pretty similar. And I would say just, that's kind of what I'm going for, is that aesthetic look to kind of get the shoulders, the lats, and then get that waist smaller. But obviously as I'm gaining weight, I'm not going to get that illusion. And so I'm a little bit more focused on, hey, I hit shoulders on this day, so I'm going to flex the shoulders a little bit more, maybe not as much of the lats. Now, here are a couple pictures from the same day And if you look, one is me flexing my lats to get that biggest V-taper possible. And then the other one, you can see that, you know, my waist and shoulder ratio is not as optimal, but you can see that I'm kind of flexing my traps and a little bit of my upper chest as well. So they both look, you know, impressive in different ways depending on like what you value. But one makes me look wider, and the other one makes me look more narrow, but makes me look like I have bigger traps, and my upper chest is popping a little bit. So these are literally taken on the same day, like right next to each other. I didn't take these pictures to try and compare that I was just doing different things. And if you look at the lighting here, this is the lighting from my first picture. And for some reason, the way that iPhones work nowadays, they're just like, it's a draw depending on, like, you don't know how much contrast it's going to give you. Sometimes I take a picture and then I look and it's like washed out. I don't know why iPhones do that nowadays, but in this particular instance, you can see that the contrast is like really high, even though it's not any different of a light setting than it was in my first picture. So that's just kind of a comparison of all these different things, like lighting. Am I flexing my lats? Am I flexing my traps? Am I doing any of that? But if you look at all of them, kind of, it doesn't really look like much of a difference. And honestly, I've gained, like I said, probably since being on Terkesterone, I've probably gained a couple pounds of muscle. And over my entire body, is that really noticeable? Especially when you like go back to this picture and you realize I'm, you know, 7 to 10 pounds heavier here than I am in the other pictures. It's like, you know, where is that weight going? And I think it's pretty obvious that it's going, some of it to my low back, and it's, you know, making my waist look a little bit bigger. But, you know, there's all those differences. And then the other thing is the two most recent pictures. So the one I took today and the one from the 19th, I'm not taking a bunch of creatine, right? So I'm taking creatine with my Gorilla Mind supplements when I take those. So I get a little bit of that. But in all the other pictures, I'm taking 10 grams of creatine a day. That's what I was doing prior to this. I was always just taking regular creatine monohydrate. And so that's another factor as well. How much water retention do I have? Is that adding to my physique? Is it subtracting? Whatever else. So hopefully this gives you an idea of like the fact that I've added weight doesn't really show all that much. And, you know, these are the differences in the pictures, and I try and pose in the same way. I try and give that V-taper type of look when I, you know, flex the lats or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're just pictures, and that's why I don't really think pictures do much justice in terms of showing any type of transformation. And that's why I show the naked body scans, and that's why I bought the thing in the first place, because my gains were so minuscule over time that I was not able to compare them based on just pictures. And I don't really go for it, I'm going to get a little bit more visually attractive or whatever else. Like, obviously, the gains that you make when you're more advanced are so minimal, it's honestly probably not even worth it if that's what you're going for. It's more so like, do you like going to the gym? Do you like making progress? Do you like getting stronger? So it's more so, I want to advance my physique. I want to advance my lifts. I want to continue going to the gym, as opposed to, can I eke out another pound of muscle? Like, it's really not going to do anything for my physique to add another pound of muscle. So that's the way that I kind of look at it. And that's why I didn't really want to have progress pictures be a thing. But rest assured, when I do this entire comparison, by the very end, I'm going to show, you know, as many pictures as I can and just try and go as in-depth to show, you know, what really happened over the course of this. But I'm not even halfway done with my Terkesterone, so we still got some time for that, and hopefully the transformation can be more drastic. But, you know, if this is going to do this for somebody who has not made progress really other than strength gains in like years, that's kind of what I'm trying to show, is that I've plateaued in muscle gains for so long. I haven't really shown any massive improvement in any way. And so if this is giving me that boost, I think that's really what I'm trying to show. Not really like, hey, I absolutely transformed my physique, because I think I'm too advanced to really do that at this point in any short period of time. So yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I will keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.